How to avoid timeshare scams. In case you don't know, a timeshare, also referred to as vacation ownership, is a property featuring a divided form of ownership or use rights. The property generally comprises resort condominium units in which multiple parties hold rights to use the property, and each owner of the same accommodation is allotted his or her period of time. Watch this video and learn how to protect yourself from timeshare scams and bad deals. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about how to avoid timeshare scams. If you're thinking about buying a timeshare or you simply plan on attending a sales presentation in order to get a free hotel stay or another gift, you should go into the timeshare tour with your eyes open to avoid getting taken for a ride. On the flip side, if you've already bought a timeshare and you want to unload it, you need to protect yourself from the many timeshare resale scammers that we've seen out there. Now, first, watch out for the hard sell. When you think about timeshares, you might have ideas of a shifty, fast-talking salesperson that pressures you relentlessly to make a purchase, right? But maybe you're willing to put up with the presentation to get a free night or at a hotel or, who knows, another price. Keep in mind though, the many people who attend timeshare sales presentations walk out as timeshare owners, whether they plan on buying one or not. So to stop this from happening to you, you want to go into the presentation fully informed about how timeshares work so that you can make a rational decision about whether purchasing a timeshare is right for you. I'm not saying here that the investment is not worth it. We have covered the whole topic of timeshare in a different video. You might want to look into that. It's just that based on complaints to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, as well as news media report, there have been lately in the last 5 to 10 years, gazillions of timeshare scams out there. And we're just trying to make sure that if you are interested in this kind of investment, you have all the information available to you so you make an informed decision. So watch out. You always want to watch out for the hard sell. The second thing you want to do is to evaluate the timeshare resort before attending the meeting. And this is a great way to avoid timeshare scams. If you're thinking about buying a timeshare in a peculiar resort, please take the time to assess the resort developer before you walk into the presentation. There are many ways you can do that. You can read about them online. You can, if they have a website, you can contact them. If they have reviews, if they have developed other timeshares in the country, trying to do collect a little bit of intel about them. The more money you are going to invest in the timeshare, the deeper the due diligence should be before you even walk into the presentation. Even if you think you will not be tempted to purchase a timeshare, it's always a great idea to investigate the developer ahead of time so you'll know who you're dealing with and perhaps their tactics, right? You can even contact their state if they're an LLC, a limited liability company, for example. You can contact the State Department where they are located and inquire about them. You can call the local chamber of commerce, or you can go on the internet and just type their name and see their status, if they have had any issues with the law, some run-ins with the law or not. You can also check the Better Business Bureau (BBB) website and run a Google search to find out if there are, as I said earlier, complaints about the timeshare developer. Timeshare owners and potential purchasers who've had difficulty dealing with the resort often post their experiences and warnings on the internet. Local real estate agent can also be very helpful when it comes to gleaning information about the resort and developer. So the bottom line here is that you want to gather intel from as many sources as possible before walking into the presentation. You also want to make sure that there is no pressure. If the development is high quality, they shouldn't be forcing you. There shouldn't be any hard sell tactics. It should flow naturally. All right. So timeshare resale scams. Unfortunately, if you get roped into buying a timeshare and your cancellation period has already expired, you probably have trouble unloading it. There is virtually, and I repeat, virtually no aftermarket for timeshares, and finding a buyer can be next to impossible. This is where the scammers come in. All right, now here is how you can protect yourself. Don't pay upfront fees, because in a traditional scam scenario, a timeshare reseller promises to hook you up with a buyer, but first you need to pay an upfront fee. Timeshare scammers often convince owners to pay large upfront fees by saying they have someone ready and willing to buy the property, or that the timeshares will be sold will be sold in a specified period of time. No, don't fall for that, because once the timeshare owners pays the fee, the scammers either disappear or claim they were simply offering to advertise the timeshare unit, and no buyer ever materializes. So many states have strict laws governing timeshare resales, including restrictions on collecting advance fees. So you want to talk to an attorney in the states where the timeshare is located to find out about relevant laws. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're having a conversation today around how to avoid timeshare scams. And in the last section, I was just telling you, don't pay upfront fee. I was just explaining you the context and the contours of a typical timeshare scam. And let's just move on with the tips here. Never pay mystery fees. In another common scam, a potential quote-unquote purchaser calls you and offers to purchase your timeshare for, say, double or triple what you paid. The supposed buyer or the buyer's representative might not ask for an upfront fee, but in the middle of the conversation or the middle of the transaction, rather, you will have to pay a tax fee. Sometimes it's called tax fee, insurance premium, or something similar. Believe me, this is bogus. Fees will keep popping up, and as long as you pay them, the scammer strings you along, maybe telling you you'll get reimbursed. There's no buyer, and you will never recoup your money. So never pay those mystery fees, which is why, again, in the first place, it's always good to ask or even be accompanied by a local attorney who has expertise and knows the subtleties of local timeshare schemes. One thing you have to understand is that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And this advice does not only apply to timeshares, it just applies for everything in life. But for timeshares, it's even more potent. There is virtually no aftermarket for timeshares. Let me repeat that. There is virtually no aftermarket for timeshares. You can purchase most timeshares on the internet for pennies on the dollar. Very rarely does anyone make a profit when selling one. So if someone offers you a deal that's too good to be true, like claiming a buyer is seeking you out or offering you significantly more than you originally paid for the timeshare, you are most likely dealing with a scammer. Don't ignore this kind of red flags. Your money is very important. Your hard-earned money should be preserved right now. Another thing that I want to say here is that never sign anything at the meeting. If you decide, hypothetically, to use a resale company, don't sign a contract when you first meet with the company. Take the documents that the company provides with you when you leave the meeting so you can spend some time reading the fine prints. The fine prints, that's where they bury all the important things. If certain promises were made about selling the timeshare, make sure those promises are covered in the contract. Also, please review the contract and documents with an attorney, an experienced attorney, a reputable lawyer. If there is no meeting, beware. Because if a resale company wants to do the entire transaction over the phone and is unwilling to meet with you in person or even provide a physical business office address, this is a clear sign that the company is not legit in the first place. All right. So those are the tips you can use. I have more. Those are the tips you can use. Some of the tips you can use to avoid timeshare scams. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are still having a good time here. We are talking today around how to avoid timeshare scams. And if you love the content's clarity and quality so far, you love this kind of content, and you believe we are adding value to your life, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you know whenever we drop a new show. And we release this kind of shows every single day, rain or shine, not just about timeshare, but about various subjects. And also like this content, share, and comment below. If you have questions, please ask them in the comment section. We will certainly answer you as long as the question is relevant to today's topic. If you want to avoid timeshare scams, you got to know who you're dealing with. If you decide to pay a fee to a timeshare resale service to help you sell your timeshare, be sure to investigate the resale service thoroughly, completely, before moving forward with the deal. You want to ask lots of questions, and verify everything the company tells you. For example, licensing requirements. In some states, only licensed real estate brokers may list and sell timeshares for resale. So if your state requires a real estate or timeshare sales license, check with the state's Department of Real Estate to make sure the agent has a valid license. If the agent is licensed, check to see if there has been any disciplinary actions taken against the agent. You also want to check with BBB. Check with the Better Business Bureau. If you're thinking of using the services of a timeshare resale company, check the BBB website for any complaints that might have been registered against the timeshare company. Never do business with a company if there are grievances filed against it. Search the internet. Use your friend Google. You can do a Google search to find out more about the company you're dealing with. Timeshare owners, again, as I said, who have been previously scammed, they often post their experiences and warnings about scammers on the internet. Learn about common scams so you can avoid them. New timeshare scams seem to pop up all the time, unfortunately. You want to check online to see what other people have gone through to make sure you don't get similarly taken. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has a great website, and this is a great place to start. And be sure to read the comments that people post. There's one thing that you have to be very careful about, and that is what people call the common Mexico timeshare resale scam. So if you bought a timeshare in Mexico and want to sell it with the help of a reseller, you need to be especially careful. One common scam involves stealing the identity of a lawyer in the United States. The scammer sets up a bogus website under the lawyer's name, offering help in selling a timeshare for a substantial fee. But the real lawyer is not involved, and the scammers just disappear with the timeshare's owner's money. So to avoid this type of scam, always verify that you are dealing with a legitimate licensed attorney. So you can find a lawyer's true contact information from the State Bar Association or State Office of Attorney Regulation. Learn how to report a timeshare scam. So if you think, for instance, that you've been a victim of a timeshare scam, there are several options available to you. You want to contact your state's Department of Real Estate, and that is if a real estate license is involved. You can contact the Federal Trade Commission. They have a toll-free number, 1-877-FTC-HELP. You can contact your state attorney general's office or your local Better Business Bureau. And this is a responsibility for all of us, because reporting unscrupulous timeshare schemes can help prevent others from becoming victims. All right? This is the end of today's conversation. I really appreciate you listening so far, and just want to quickly recap today's conversation. How to avoid timeshare scams. Watch out for the hard sell. Evaluate the timeshare resort before attending the meeting. Don't pay upfront fees. Never pay mystery fees. Be cautious. Beware if it's too true. If it sounds too good to be true, don't sign anything at the meeting. Know who you're dealing with, and report the timeshare scam as soon as you learn about it. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.